I have with me Ira Nodelman, who runs our operations for our program, Pledge Against Bullying, and Lourdes is sitting over there. He's sales marketing, and then we have a student from the Leesburg High School, Dejanay, because she has lived and was a part of the program that we did. It was a year pilot program with the Leesburg High School to really see what happened, and she can tell you from a student's perspective, does the program work? Now normally, I always start out and say, let me tell you how this whole thing started. I don't think you're really interested how it all started, but we built a relationship with the principal of the Leesburg High School, and he told us his biggest problem in the school, which is a Title I school, by the way, was really bullying in school. Big fights and all kinds of problems. And the students in general thought that the school wasn't safe. And what happens with unsafe schools, people go to other schools, go to charter schools or religious schools or whatever, or home schooling. Anyway, there was a lot of stuff going on and the school wasn't doing all that good. So I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur in my life. I've done many things that I enjoy, that if there is a challenge, I like to take that on. So I said this bullying thing is maybe something that being retired, we can do in Leesburg, and we did. So for 1 year, the real experience we had for a 1-year pilot program that was going to fight bullying. And so I dealt with a lot of the SROs in the Leesburg High School. Actually, they became my friends, including the sheriff and the chief of police and so on. As a matter of fact, you will see pretty soon in our area and the police cars and some of the sheriff cars wrapped in messages about our program because it was so successful. And so after that 1 year of education, of course, I learned a lot because I'm not from law enforcement, right? That's not my background. So I learned an awful lot, and now we even have police cars that are going to be wrapped about anti-bullying because the whole community knows that we're successful. So today I want to start from the back. Instead of telling you what the program is and what the results are, I'd like to get your attention to say, let me tell you what the results are, and I'll tell you then how we did that, how did we come to that. For a school, a high school is very important is attendance, because they get paid by the student, you all know that. We increased attendance in the Leesburg High School from 88% to 92%, and all the way at the end it was 95%. What is so significant? Not only the extra money that the school got, but we passed the 90% level that the feds require for additional funding. So now the school is getting more money because they are now over the 90% as minimum requirement. So the principal is very happy. We also increased reporting of bullying. Kids in general, as you know, didn't want to report bullying because your name goes in a file and it gets a number, and sometime in the future they're going to come back and say you were involved in a bullying issue. Kids don't like to report. The bullying went up 25%. That's very high because the school was safer and they felt they could report. And I'll tell you how that worked. Awareness. Nobody wanted to talk about the B word, bullying. When they sit in the cafeteria, you talk about bullying, somebody's going to pick on you. Now, 100% awareness, and bullying isn't part of the daily conversation, it's very normal. So the awareness is all over. It's now a common thing that they can talk about. Academics went up. We had no attempted suicides. Every aspect in the school went better because now it's a safer school. So we know that the results in the letter of the principal, which you will have copies if you want to pick stuff up from us over here later on, is a letter of the principal even said every aspect in school really improved. However, there's one thing that every principal will tell you. Can we change the culture in a school? Have you ever thought of that? To change the culture in a school, can you do that? Do you think a principal will say, yeah, we can do that, we can change the culture? Or do they say, hey, the school is it, the students is it, there's nothing we can do about it? Did we change the culture in the school? Yes? You have to speak up.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. She's the student, she lived it, so she can tell you. That's the amazing part in that letter of recommendation of our principal, that we did change the culture in the school. So the question then is, how do we do that? Because bullying is an old problem. And nobody has been able to solve that problem of bullying. Now, not only that, you see bullying in big companies. Our hospital with 3,300 employees has bullying among the nurses. And that are adults and they're bullying. So how do we stop this bullying and this is a business approach that I have to tell you, because you will look at the school and what you do from a law enforcement point of view. You go by the laws that we have, the practices we have, etc. That's the way you approach your bullying project. If I talk to the school administration, they go by, oh, let me tell you what all the rules and regulations are. You cannot do this, and you cannot do that, you cannot say so and so. So how do you make a program that will take in consideration what all these rules are? And not only that, you will find out that one school does this, and another school does that. One school said you can do fundraising. The next one says, no, you cannot do fundraising. And the third one says, we don't want the kids to handle money. And so you get all these requirements and say, how are you going to put a program together to stop bullying if there are so many barriers? So we did the reverse. I'm a businessman, and I looked at it from a business perspective. By the way, what was my business really? Anybody ever heard of Kettle One Vodka? Nobody drinks Kettle One Vodka? Yeah? I'm the founder of Kettle One Vodka, so I have some friends. You want samples, right? So we looked at a business approach rather than from an educator perspective or a law enforcement perspective. So we made a program that we felt would work with the kids to start off with. So what do? The principle is that we're taking away the market for the bullies to pick on kids. And the market is to say, if a whole school is worried about bullying, and we know who the bullies are, I'm sure you know who the bullies are in school, or you have a pretty good idea who they are, and it's through their strengths that everybody is scared, nobody stands up to these bullies. So they have a lot of fun with their bullying. If we take that market away from the bullies, if kids are standing up, if kids are not going to take it anymore, if kids don't like it, and you can see that, make the invisible majority that we have in school a visible majority. Now we see all the good kids. If we can do that, then they will see as bullies that their market is shrinking, because if you are a part of our program and they can see that, then the bully knows it's no use to pick on you because you're going to report it and your buddies are going to report it. So with that approach of taking away the market from the bullies, there is no more fun in bullying, and they kind of stop bullying. That includes cyberbullying. By the way, nobody has had a program that cyberbullying was involved. We purely look at what happens on the school properties. Well, so ours is even going into cyberbullying, our program. How do we do that? We work through the clubs or certain classes in the schools. For example, Interact is a Rotary program in school. We have Skills USA, we have National Honor Society, we have all these clubs. We deal with the clubs because we don't want to deal really with the school itself as far as the curriculum is concerned. We are not going to teach things that the school says is outside our curriculum. So we deal with these clubs. They usually meet after school hours, what is it, 2:30 in the afternoon or whatever, they meet, and have these students become our ambassadors into the school. So what did we do in Leesburg? We start with a smaller group in 5 or 10 different clubs, and they start to carry the program, and it spreads out. So as a matter of fact, a statistic, at the end of the year, at the end of the school year, between 65 and 80% of the students had backpacks with buttons on it that says, "I'm against bullying." The bullies saw that 80% of the students are against them, so the bullies were not do anything, because whatever they did, they were getting nowhere, because everybody is standing up to them. And that's why, for example, bullying related, Title I school, very poor school, last 3 months, not a single fight. Hello, SROs, are you with me? No bullying-related fights for 3 months. That's amazing. Why? Because the kids didn't take it anymore. As a matter of fact, remember we had a year and a half ago, we had the walkout that all the kids walked out of the school in protest. Remember that? They did a program on Friday afternoon. The principal came on the PA system and he said, okay, everybody who has a white tag on the backpack, which we call a pledge card, you took a pledge that you're not going to bully. Everybody with a pledge card on the backpack can leave the class 10 minutes early. You know what that means to kids in school. I'll be damned, I don't have that. Well, that's not going to happen again with me. And they sit for another 10 minutes in the class looking at each other and looking at the teacher, waiting for the bell to ring so they can go too. None of them forgot that lesson. None of them forgot that lesson. So we are taking the market away from the bullies. And we do that as follows, by these clubs, Interact, etc. And that's why I'm mic'd up, because they're taping me here for a video to Rotary, which is a big organization that you might have heard about, and they are with Interact in the high schools. So they get these tags that are the pledge cards, and I have samples of them, that they put on the backpack. When you take the pledge, not only that you say, I pledge that I will not do bullying, etc., and I will report it, but also 3 of their buddies are going to sign the pledge card as witnesses. I agree, you pledged it, but I'm your buddy, so I'll sign it that you indeed signed this card. So now I got 3 names of my buddies. Why is that so important? Because at the age of 16, 17, and I have a granddaughter that just went through that, I do not know nothing, she knows everything. And she tells me that I do not know anything. Well, she changed her mind. But in other words, it's very hard to get into the mind of a 16, 17-year-old, and you know that. You can talk to them and go in and out, and that's it. So this tag on the backpack shows everybody that they are anti-bullying. So when we see in the morning the kids go to school, you see all these white tags going into school, and it's very impressive because the kids are actively involved. It is a student-run program made by students for students. We only facilitate. We make all the things they need, and we give them guidance, but it are the students that design the buttons, that design everything, and tell us what they would like. So this tag goes on the backpack, and we have samples for you to take with you later on. So what do? We create buttons. We create buttons because kids love buttons on backpacks. They love it. And they start exchanging buttons and so on. So, I do not know if the police department likes buttons, but what does this one say?
Tampa, it says, Tampa Police Department. let me get my glasses.
Oh.
That's tiny. Okay, it's got a badge on it. It says Tampa Police at the top and pledge against bullying.
Good, because you are against bullying, right?
Yes.
Yes. We have buttons for you to take with you. So after this meeting, there's many things laying here for you to take home with you as samples. So now every month we have these meetings in these clubs. And why is that important? We have to stay in front of them about anti-bullying. Because telling them once, it goes ear in, ear out, and they forget. So we have to stay not only in the meetings, and it doesn't have to take very long, but anti-bullying, but do programs with anti-bullying. The first time I made my first friendship with the first SRO was when the kids did a stomping out program. And that was with a piece of chalk. They would write things on the sidewalks in the school, bullying is lame or whatever. And then the kids would come and they would stomp out bullying. What did that do? It created awareness for the rest of the school. What are they doing over there? What's that? Oh, they're stomping out bullying. So the SROs moved in, and I was standing there hand in hand with an SRO and another student here. We all were yelling and screaming and whatever because we were stomping. Suddenly the kids became aware that the SROs are our friends. And the movement that we are created, they are a part of the movement. And what have we seen, Dejeuner? What have we seen? What happened since the SROs are our friends?
There has been a culture change in the school, and also students are more easily able to go and talk to the SROs about problems that they have.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, there was going to be a big fight in school about a drug war. One family distributing drugs got into the other family's territory, and they drag it into the school, right? So the kids knew the evening before that tomorrow the blows are going to fight the whatever other family. It was well known. So they went to the SROs and said, this is going to happen tomorrow. Before they didn't do that. You just don't talk about it. They said, well, better be ready tomorrow, because it's going to be a big fight. So the site was going to start, well, didn't work too well, because the SROs were right there, the administration was right there, and really nothing happened. One of the reasons why we haven't a fight in 3 months' time, because the kids are talking now to the SROs because they are their friends. Now, I'm sure you have a relationship with lots of students, I understand that. But it becomes just more common to do it because we talk about bullying, we're doing all these programs, it's going to be a part of the daily routine. For example, I'm just throwing some examples at you. We now have big bags of sunflower seeds, not the ones you eat, but the ones you can plant. And so the students in Leesburg in early September are going to go with the SROs in downtown Leesburg, where we have a lot of planter boxes, and they're going to put seeds in all the planter boxes so that in 4 weeks from that moment, you will see all the sunflowers in the street, which they did together with the SROs. And the whole town will know, because what are all these flowers doing over here? Well, that's anti-bullying, because that's what we stand for. So indeed, the police and the sheriffs are very much a part of our circle, and the sheriff and the chief of police are very big friends of ours. So now every month we do a program with the kids, and for every time they get either a button, like I have a button here. Now, you're not going to understand this button, because it says Luna 2 on it. Right? You don't understand the button. You say, what's that? Well, the kids are getting older, and they understand that there is somewhere a question of what's in it for me. Why should I do all of this? I used to be in the aerospace business as well, and I have a good relationship with NASA and all these people. So what are we offering the kids right now? Next year, 2020, if they participate in our program, their picture and their name will go up into space and land on the moon with the first commercial Falcon Heavy going up there and doing moon landing. And we will have a capsule in there with all the pictures and the names of not only the students, but it can be with the parents, it can be with the dogs, it can be with their friends, girlfriend, whatever. And that goes to the moon. So forever they will be, unless the Martians steal the canister, they will be forever on the moon. And think about it, most of you have kids or grandkids. Okay, if you walk on the beach and the sun set on the beach and you walk there with your son or your daughter and say, hey kids, you know, we're up there. Do you know that? Forever, we are up there. Kids like that. They want stories, they want something that's unique. Aerospace is still the frontier, the new thing. Everything else for these kids is blah. Whatever you tell them doesn't mean anything. So what is this button, for example, is the patch that if you, with NASA, you have these white uniforms. That's the patch of our rocket, our Falcon Heavy, going to go up in a year from now. So the kids can already have a patch like that. As a matter of fact, if the kids perform, they get a boarding pass in email sent to them because they have done a lot of things in the program and they're being rewarded because they're going to go to the moon, so they're getting a boarding pass. We have to get in their brains. We have to make these kids think about anti-bullying all the time and be ingenuity. We need ingenuity. They can design their own buttons if they like to. So let us know what your design is and we'll make the buttons accordingly. Well, we have this one is better, I think. We have, for example, in middle schools, where maybe we don't want kids involved too much with something that has a pin on it, or you can hurt yourself. So here we have another tag on the backpack that shows stickers. So they get in different meetings, different stickers. They can take that piece of paper out and put one sticker on top of another sticker, so they always have the latest stickers hanging on their backpack, and they can keep the ones they really like. This could be one, for example, that we can put the patch on it for the rocket patch for it. This one says, stomping out bullying. This is our friendship, shaking hands. We have a very large gay, I don't know if you have that here, but a very large gay and straight alliance, kids that do not know what they are yet, I guess. And so they're very big and being picked on all the time. They have their own sticker on that. So we can make and design these stickers for the kids so they feel strong that their sticker is being made and their school colors and school mascot or whatever are on this changeable backpack thing.
Show them on the laptop? Show the stickers on the laptop?
No, that's okay, because they're too far away. So, are we really doing a good job? The principal says so. The students say so. What I saw, I said yes. I do not know if you have a magazine called Style Magazine here in town. This Style Magazine has a total that are two different issues, 2 months, a total of 9 pages written about us because of the great success that we have. That's unbelievable, and they write about it in the magazines. So now we are going into year number 2 and starting to expand our program because we learned so much and we have now proven how successful we are with the program that we want to expand, and that's why we're here. And I hope that you like to work with our program and get more involved in it. So we have a big support staff on helping you, that you say, hey, can we do this, can we do that? The kids want so and so. So we are really here to support all of that. In the meantime, this was kind of the basic. Has anybody any questions about what we do or successful or what you think?
If the kids do the buttons and the pins, does your organization do the pins?
Yeah, we make the pins. Yeah, we make them ourselves. And that is being done by Ira. And students you can do a contest, let the kids make their own pin design or own sticker design and make a contest out of it. You can do all kind of opportunities. So we have to go out and have trifolds with all the information on it. It's all here that when you are after the meeting, you say, hey, I want samples of this and samples of that, we have them here. Even further, we can mail them to you too, mail them to the school or whatever address you gave us, and we'll help to get you started. Now, who's paying for all of this? We're dealing with a school that says, I have no money, so a little bit difficult. So we made this program self-sustaining, and that means this. The kids can go home and have with them a signature card where you can put about, I thought, around 20 names you can put on that card. And you can go to family and friends and say, Grandpa, Grandma, Mom, Dad, whatever. For $5, you can put your name on this signature card. And that's going to go with the pictures of the kids to the moon. Now, these pictures can be anything. It can be pictures of the summer vacation when you and the kids were, I don't know, on the beach or whatever you're doing. And take that picture and say, we'd like to get that to the NAM as a side program, but the first one is your own name. Dad, Mom, Pete, Charlie, whatever it is. So for $5, they can do that. We collect, that money is being collected, and then that pays for the whole program. So the school doesn't pay anything, because if you go to the school and talk about money, they have nothing to say. So it's just not going to happen. Now we do this in different ways, because for middle school we do it a little bit different, because little kids should not have money in their hands, but high school kids are used to fundraisers for the football club or gymnastics or whatever, so they are used to doing these things. But the signature sheets is the way that we get paid for our services, because I have to pay for the rocket, I have to pay for the administration, there's a lot of cost involved, so it has to come from somewhere. by this program is self-sustaining. That means we don't have to go back to the schools and say, can I get some money? Can you pay for this or can you pay for that? That money will pay for not only for our costs, but also 25% of what is collected goes back to the school for those clubs so they can do things, even in conjunction with the SROs on programs, buy t-shirts or wristbands or whatever. They can do programs on their own with the money that we share out of this signature writing program. 25% is pretty good. So they have now a reason, the kids, to participate because they're earning money for their own club. Any questions? If there is, I'm looking at my time. I have to stay within an hour. So, any questions on implementing that, or why are the SROs in Leesburg, Sheriff, etc., so pleased with our program that they're even wrapping the police cars with the slogans? Because it works. The program works. Is there another program like this in the United States? We have not been able to find it. We have been doing research for 3 years, and there is no other program that works. Oh, they have programs, hang a tag on your neck with a phone number of a crisis telephone number. Kids are still afraid to call an unknown phone number, talk to unknown people, and tell them everything, because they do not know where it is going to go. So it's complicated. So bad, you know, we have a governor in the state of Florida that is DeSantis. I'm not talking politics, but he is our governor. And his wife, Casey, is concentrating on programs, suicide prevention, depression, etc. It's very nice, very honorable that she does that, and I hope that it really works. So we went in there this morning, just see what now our governor and his wife are standing for, right? Well, here are all the sections that you can go into. And the last section says, I'm being bullied. Now what does that mean? We know what it means. We have 5,500 kids commit suicide every year in the United States. 5,500. That's about 7 plane loads of a 747 crashing. Does any one of us think that we will allow 7 planes to crash every year and it's okay? We won't be flying. But these 5,500 kids through bullying, yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. So here we go in the website of the wife, First Lady of Florida, to look under bullying what they recommend. If you feel like you're being bullied, or there's a kid in a group of kids who just won't leave you alone, you need someone. Start with your teacher, guidance counselor, and tell your parents too. You're not a tattletale, deserve to feel safe at school or around the neighborhood. A bully could be picking on someone else and you help them feel safe too. That's the recommendation. Can you deal with that? Do you think that works? Should you publish that and say, see how good I am? See what a program we have? They have no program. And not only that, there are no statistics. There are no statistics, at least in the Orange County public school district they want to deal with this also. And that's big, 200 schools, 211,000 kids. And the first thing they said is, show me the statistics. And I said, well, you the school, you have the statistics. You know what our program did in the school, rather than asking me, because I have no right to these statistics in a school. I'm an outsider, I'm a quote-unquote vendor. And so they came to the conclusion they have no statistics on it. They have some incident statistics, but not really bullying based. And so there are no statistics, but we know it's a very big problem. And as you can see, what our state government comes out with, it says talk to somebody. And we have a program that works, but it takes time to get through the bureaucracy and all the barriers that are being put up with you can't do this, you can't do that, and who's paying for it and all that stuff. You have to go through all of that, and we have done that. And that's what our experience is right now. It works, we know how to deal with it, and that's one of the reasons why we were invited to talk to you about our program, because it will work, and I hope that you will see and work with it and say, wow, that's one way of doing it. But there is no competition, so you're the first police department in Florida that will at least being asked to work with us and and say, what can you do and how can you help us? The best way, we have learned many times over, the best way is to approach a principal. When you go through all the hoopla, you go through everything, it's always the principal that takes the decision. And it always boils down. Even the top can say it's wonderful, or the top can say whatever they want. It's the principal that ultimately decides, will the program be implemented or not. So we have our principal in Leesburg. His name is Mr. Randolph, Michael Randolph. Anybody can call him, and he will tell whoever calls how fantastic our program is. As a matter of fact, he is so enthusiastic. We're doubling up this year because little Leesburg, out of the center, the armpit of Florida, is going to be Tampa. And I said, really? And he said, yes, we will. We're going to work ourselves to that because it started in Leesburg, and we're going to be the winner. And there's going to be some competition coming up, I think, because the program works. And a big district as what you have is, I think it's great if you can come forward with a program that works rather than say, nothing I can do about it. It also will make the work for you a lot easier when you have kids that are more willing to work with you than before, because they now feel you're in their movement, in their group. As I said, the 60 to 80% of the kids walking in, they are now your friends. They want to talk to you, you can talk to them, they understand you better rather than being afraid. And let's be honest, you know, if I drive on the freeway and I get a car with flashing red lights behind me, you don't say, oh, this is a wonderful day. You say, oh my God, I have done something. I don't know what it is, but I must have done something. So we have to take that resistance out of there, and they have to become more friendly to you and your organization. And they are, and they are. So I hope you can deal with it. My business cards are here also. You say, I want to call the guy and ask for something, whatever. You can call me anytime. Not in the evening or at night, please, but for the rest, Saturday, Sundays, you always can call me. You can ask for as many support materials as you want. Just tell us what's on your mind and we'll deal with it. We're very flexible.